Good evening. Welcome. My name is Kwabena. I want to share with you before you start your business. Some people compare starting a business, as preparing to start a business, as say preparing to start a family life, marriage. Some people say even it looks like preparing to go to war. You may not be able to predict what can happen when you start, and your journey may be entirely different from any other person's journey. Your condition may be entirely different, but just as anything in life, if you get some kind of decisions right, if you get some kind of information, they will help you to maybe get over some of the pitfalls that a lot of people get into. It does not mean that you will not get your own troubles. It does not mean that you will not meet your own challenges. But if you were informed in a way, if you were told some things, then at least you would be able to expect some of the things that people meet when they start their business. Some of them may not be so nice, some of them may not be so palatable, but this is life. And so I want to share with you some of the few things that I think you should be able to look at if you are thinking of starting a business. And one of the main things that I would say is that until you have started a business, you have no idea what it takes to build one. Until you have started one yourself, until the whole load was on you, until you are the one responsible for the decisions and the successes and the failures, you have little understanding. When you're driving, somebody else is at the front seat, they may think like they know how to drive, but when they are in the driver's seat and they are holding the steer, so to say, and they are meeting the cars that are coming, they are applying the brakes, the accelerator, it's a whole different thing. And so these are some of the things that you can look at if you're thinking to start a business, but there's no guarantee that you will still not deal with a lot of errors. So the first thing I would say is that resolve to develop the mindset that is required for anybody to build a successful business. Resolve to build that. There is a certain kind of mindset that is required for success in this life. There is a certain kind of mindset that is required for anybody to succeed in any endeavor, any area in this life, and business is part of it. If you have the mindset of scarcity, you have the mindset of being selfish, if you don't have the mindset of thinking far, if you don't have the mindset of believing in yourself and believing in people, if you don't have the mindset of believing that you have what it takes to be successful, if you don't have the mindset to be confident, it will be very tough for you to have a business that will be successful. If you look around the world, anybody who has ever done anything successful, they seem to have some common beliefs about success. They seem to believe in the same thing. They seem to believe in hard work. They seem to believe in honesty, integrity. They seem to believe in becoming better all the time. They seem to believe in having passion for what they do. They seem to believe in the fact that some other people have some gift that will help them to succeed. If you are going to start a business, you should be thinking along these kind of lines. Particularly if you are starting business in Ghana, in Africa, in a developing economy, some of the things that they have written in the business books are way different from the things that you will meet. And so you would have to have a very huge, concrete, fundamental resolve, of the mindset of a champion, of a mindset of somebody who is to do something meaningful with his life. Starting a business should not just become a plan B, and that maybe you are looking for a work in some organization, because you didn't get that work and nobody wants to get you, then you just decide, hey, then maybe let me try a business. It should be something that that you want to make a contribution with your life with. And so there should be a resolve to succeed. There should be a resolve to say that I want to become successful. And there is a mindset of those who don't succeed, and there is a mindset of those who succeed. There's nobody who is born to be successful. Every one of the people who succeed at anything that they do, they had a particular way of thinking. They had a particular way of looking at life, And one of the things you could see around them is that they develop that mind to succeed. They develop the skills that were required to succeed. So resolve that if I want to start a business, I love to have that psyche to be successful, and that I deserve to be successful. I'm not the one who is going to complain and feel like a victim, really feel like nothing. No, that mindset, you will not succeed. Why? Because the challenges in businesses, in running a business, there are many. There are many. So you will not want to be the person who would want to start a business feeling like you're weak. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. So I am talking about before you start your business, some of the things that you may have to look at before you start. And until you start one, you don't know what it is. You could read a lot of books around it. You could have MBA in it. You could have PhD or whatever they call it in it. But until you are doing it, you don't know it. And there's a certain kind of thinking that people who are able to build businesses and succeed have, And so the first thing is that you resolve to develop that psyche. There's a way they think. You would have to look at how those people who build businesses think. They think in a particular way. They think that they want to succeed. They think that what business that they have started will change the world, will change the community they live in, will change something around their area. They think that they are gifted to do this. They were born to do this, and that if they don't do it, another person will not be able to do it. They think they seem to have some kind of thinking which makes them special, in quote, because they believe that once they are in it, they will succeed. So no matter how many challenges that they meet, no matter how many troubles that they meet, you see that they still keep going. They still keep going. There's something in them that will not leave them. Even if they want to give up, maybe today they are down. Tomorrow you see them up. Why? Because there's a certain way that they have programmed their mind to see the world, and so they see the world from abundance point of view. They are not the one who's trying to hide their things from you when you go around them. They seem to have common belief in humanity. They seem to have some bit of openness of mind. They seem to be able to try some ideas. There's a way they think. There's a way they look at life. And so if you want to start a business, you cannot go into starting a business with the other side of thinking, where you are very paranoid, you are very selfish. You look at only your interests. You are not patient. You can't think beyond 1, 2, 3, 4 years. You are the one who wants to impress every little everybody around you. You are not stable. You are not confident in yourself, in your opinion. You can stand up to argue your point out. Those are not, if you are that kind of person, you may have to correct those tendencies, at least to a certain limit, before you start a business, because it's no joke. It's no joke. It's something that would have to, it will eat a lot of your energy. It requires a lot of sacrifices. And so it's not just the book plan, when they talk about business plan and all that, those are good, but there's a certain personality that you have to become before you even think of starting a business. So the type of personality that you are, your aspirations in life, what is it that you want to do with your life, should be clear to you. Who do you think you are? What are the gifts that you think you have? Which kind of business do you want to start? Does it meet your personality? Does it meet your philosophy? It's not just that you want to start anything. Does that business even have the future? Do you have the future? Do you have the ability to leverage that business? Sometimes, some people seem to succeed quickly in business, not because they were intelligent, but sometimes one way or the other, they happen to have started a business that was needed at that point. And so the particular business that you start and the success of it, and even in the sustainability of the business, because the business should have a future. For instance, maybe there are some things that you know. Okay, when you were growing up, you saw com center everywhere. That time there was no, people didn't have mobile phones, so many. If you strategize your business to say that I wanted to open maybe 1,000 com centers with landline, by this time your business will be off, because it just came for a specific period of time, maybe 5 years, boom, and the technology shifted. And so the kind of business that you are thinking to start, you should also be able to look at the future of that business. Is it a business that can be relevant in the next 2, 3 years, 4 years, or you'll be comfortable to say that if I'm able to run this business for 1 year, I'm able to close it even if the market I'll be able to close it as the market will not need it. And so think of the kind of business that you want to start. Think of the kind of personality that you are. Some people are very calm, shy, they don't like talking to a lot of people. Some people are very aggressive. Some people are very good with numbers. Some people are very good with human beings. Some people are very good with product development. Some people are very good with customer service. Some people are very good with sales. Some people are very systematic. What kind of personality that you are? What do you know? Some people are very good with convincing people. They are very communicators. What is it that you know? The business that you're starting, how much of those skills are required in that kind of business? Do you know, if you start a construction company, what are the skills that you will need to start a successful construction company? What do you have to have? Is it the people? Is it the finances? Is it the engineering that you have to have? What is it that you know that can let you start a business? Is anything? If you can say that you don't have any technical skills, no problem, but you have some talent as a human being. Maybe you have a very good voice, maybe you have very good control over English, maybe you are very good in thinking, in calculating, maybe you're very good with the way you organize finances, maybe you're very good in the way you're able to convince people. What is it that you, as a person who wants to start a business, what is it that you have to start with? You should be able to identify that. It will help you to overcome a lot of pain and a lot of disagreement when you start the business. And so study your personality and know that which area that you think you're good at, because eventually your success will be built around your leverage, your development, your growth will be built on your strength, not on the areas that you are weak. The areas that you are weak will be responsible for you not growing or for you failing. But not growing or not failing would not mean that you're succeeding. So the growth and the development, the expansion will come because you have identified strength. And so growth is a result of the strength that you have. Growth is as a result of the things that you know to do well. So what are those things that you know to do well? If you're able to identify those things, you'll be able to build a business that is around your personality, that a business that you're passionate about, a business that you know that you are always happy, you are always involved in the growth, and you are always looking for the knowledge required for that business to grow. And so look for that. What is it that you have talent for? What is it that you have passion for? What is it that you are gifted to do? What is it that you have expertise in? It's most likely those are the areas that you will start a business. So look at that. Look at that side. The other thing that we want to talk about is the kind of partners or the kind of people that you would want to team with to start a business. You may start as a person, as an individual, but by all means, even if you don't go in for partners, you will still, one way or the other, bring somebody to help you. It could be your friends, it could be your family, it could be somebody you don't know at all. The character of that person, the psyche of that person, the skill of that person will help you a lot in the initial stages. If they are very negative people, if they are very pessimistic people, if they are people you cannot depend on, you will create so many stress for yourself. And so you think of the kind of people that you can start the business with, or who will come on board to help you. The energy that they bring will be The kind of energy that they bring will be an advantage for you, or sometimes they could be a very huge liability for you. And so think through, what is the psyche, what kind of person that are you, and what kind of person that you will need to come and complement your skill, your expertise, your network. It's very important to do that. So usually most people don't sit down to look at that. Most people only look at I just need a partner. And so maybe somebody is bringing money, that's what they're interested in, or somebody else has a technical skill, and so they just look at that, but they don't look at the personality. The personality, what is their philosophy, what is the philosophy of life, what is your worldview, how far do they want to, what is even success to them. Those are the things. Are they people who are adaptable? Is he somebody who can learn quickly? Is he somebody who will be able to take heat and stress and problems? Is he somebody when you start to see success he will break? These are things that you may not be able to identify right from the start, or even before you start. But at least think through such things. Think through, look at them, because those are things that will help you to make the business succeed or to make the business not succeed. They say that a lot of businesses, the business that they start, maybe only 1% or maybe 10%, or they have some statistics that they have. They say that in the first 5 years, maybe only about 10% will succeed, and the next 5 years, maybe only 10% of that 10% will succeed. They have some very dangerous statistics that they put up, which means that this, running a business is trouble. But it's not so much about the business not succeeding. It's so much about the kind of person who is starting the business. Because the fact that even that business does not work does not mean that you as somebody who wants to start a business cannot have another chance to start another business. Another chance to start another business. You will have that. And the only way that you will succeed at the business that you start is not because that business was probably very good. No, it's because you have become better. So the expertise of the people who start the business, the composition that they were in before they started the business, the industry that they identify, how well it fit them, the economy. A lot of things come into play before businesses become successful. So the more skilled, the more skilled you are, the more experienced you are in terms of how a business is structured, how a business is founded, how a business is built from the beginning, will decide how much success you enjoy. Because it's a skill that people develop. It's a skill that is required to form a business, to found a business. So it's not just any business at all. You just have to look into the kind of business that you're looking at. It's expertise. It's a skill development. And so if you start a business and it does not even work, it only shows that you did not know much. It may be that you started it at the wrong time. It may be that there were a lot of factors that you didn't consider. And so the more you stay at it and the more you become better, the more your chances of you succeeding. So the much information that you have in entering any particular business will decide the success that you get. So if you didn't know anything at all, if you didn't have any skill, if you didn't have any technical understanding, if you didn't have any financial understanding, if you didn't know how to manage people, if you didn't understand the entire economy that you were operating in, if you didn't understand the culture of the people, if you didn't have a good partner or the right choice of a partner, or you didn't have enough information to choose the right business, all those, any of them could make the business succeed, or any of them could make you delay, or they could even make you give up as a business person. So before you start, some of the things that you would have to look at: your financial knowledge and how you deal with loans and debt. Your financial knowledge is so critical to you starting a business. You may not need money to start a business. Businesses are started with ideas. So every one of us have an idea or has an idea that can be developed into a business, and sometimes into a profitable business. Everyone. You don't need money to create an idea. So to say, you don't need money, you just need an idea. So and every day new ideas come around. Every day new ideas come to every human. Every day. It could be water, it could be anything. It could be granite, it could be banana, it could be chair, it could be video, it could be film, it could be anything. It could be writing a book, it could be anything. So business ideas are always coming. What is not present is this expertise to know which idea connects with your personality. So let's say you see the TV, where I am now, there's a lot of TV waves, or what do they call them? The radiation all over, the radio waves, FM stations moving. If I don't have a radio, I will not be able to tune in. So the ideas are just coming to all of us. The one that clicks us, or the one that gets our attention, are the ones that we have expertise or we have the eyes to see. It's come to every human. Every human gets business idea. The problem is not the idea. The problem is the skill, the expertise that you need to develop that idea into a workable business or a profitable business. So the financial knowledge is so critical. If you have a weak financial knowledge, it's likely that you cannot build a business. So the faster you are able to build a very good financial knowledge and a very good financial skill will depend on how well you're able to build a business. So before you think of, or before you even plan of starting a business, start to read about finances, start to study them, start to know the impact of them, the personal finances and how you organize them. Maybe it could help you to handle your business finances well, but they are not the same. They are worlds apart. They are different things altogether. If you have very good financial knowledge, as an individual, when you go into business, you'll be able to use that to build the business. If your business, you see, the thing is, it's not the business plan that is so much important. It's the model that you have tested. So maybe I want to build, say, I want to have a multiple place of selling, say, wache. A lot of people are selling wache. You see people around. I mean, Sister Kosia is selling wache, and Tiama is selling wache. The idea is not so much Antiama. Antiama is selling wache. She probably has sold that wache at a particular point for 20 years. And she has one station. Antiama's expertise in terms of business and how she can manage her finances may not necessarily be able to take her to run, let's say, 100 outlets in the whole of Ghana. And so the expertise that Antiama would have to sell the same watch, the same product, maybe just, it may not even have to look like a restaurant, no. Just the same kiosk, just as the same things that she does. But she would have to become another person for her to start to sell wache at 1.2, 3, 4, 5, let's say 20 of them scattered in Accra. She may not even be the one dishing out the wache. She would have to become somebody who will be able to now manage the finances very well, so that every point of sale is profitable on its own. She will be the person who would have to become very good in terms of identifying who a manager is and how they can train them to manage it as if they were the one there. So in that case, the woman would have to move from just being able to prepare very nice wache to becoming somebody who can run a business. And in that case, she would have to test the model to see. She would not, even if they give her money to just open 100 at a go, in spite of her handling one point for 20 years. If somebody gives her 1 million, 2 million Ghana cedis to say open 10 at a go or 20 at a go, she will fail. She would have to model it. She would have to try it, test it, go from 1 to 2 to 3 to see the inconveniences, because every addition will come with some kind of inconveniences, And so she would have to become that kind of person who can multiply, who can manage all these multiple locations. And so the finances will not be just as when she had one. Maybe when she had one, she could be there, or the daughter could be there. Now she has 100. It's an entirely different thing. It's an entirely different ball game. Her financial knowledge, her expertise would have to be a different person altogether. And so you're very, before you even think of starting something, a business, the finances, they are blood to the business. And any of us can start a business if you know how to manage business finance well, if you know how to model an idea for it to work, if you know how to manage people, we can start a business and run it well. So starting a business is not a joke. And we live in a country where credit is about maybe 30%, 40% from commercial banks. Maybe the government is trying to reduce it. If you go to the microfinance people, some of them are charging 5%, 6% a month. Now, if you go to take this kind of credit and you don't know your finances well, you will create problem within 3 months that will take you another 5 years before you start. If you have a registered business and you have a project and the banks look at you, they can easily give you 100,000, 200,000 for you to go into, maybe you're a construction company. You had a project which is 1 million. If the bank look at the client who has given you the project, they can do their mathematics and you can do yours and see that, okay, maybe I need 500,000 to start a business, to start a project. The bank can easily give you 200,000 because you have a registered company and you have a project and they believe in the client. Ordinarily, the bank will not give you as an individual that 200,000. Probably your salary is 2,000 a month. And so if they put everything together, maybe you're just 24,000 without taxes and without any other thing. Which means as an individual, you cannot even save 7,000 a year. So no bank will give you 200,000. But because you have a business and you have a project, they can easily give you 200,000, 300,000 to go and do that project. Now, the bank will not have studied your financial knowledge and your choices. And you as an individual, if your financial knowledge was weak, you may not even have sat down to do your mathematics well, to see whether you can pay that interest, and if anything happens on the cash flow at all, you are able to sustain. So that will come if you have proper financial knowledge. It does not just come because you're a human being. It does not just come because you have worked for salary. It will come because you have done some numbers before, because you have done some models before. Because the same project, which is 1 million, you can finish that project and you'll be in debt for maybe 300, 400,000 because you were not able to handle the finances well, or you were sloppy. As usual, business comes with a lot of problems. So maybe the person who gave you that project promised you that they will pay you every month, and then something happens and they started to pay you 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. Now, if you went for that loan will still be accruing interest. They probably may have taken collaterals and everything. And the project that you expected to bring you profit, you had a projection. So maybe at the end of the project, you could have, out of the 1 million, you could have maybe 20% profit. Now, the same project is getting into negative. You start to panic. And you start to panic because your financial knowledge is weak. And so financial knowledge gives you some kind of confidence. Your financial knowledge is the one which will even help you when you start a business and there's trouble. You'll be able to re-engineer back on track because you built that financial knowledge. So the financial knowledge required to start a business is not the same as the financial knowledge that you have when you are receiving salary. It's a world apart. My advice is that you would have to do them one bit at a time. If your company is making 1 million revenue a month, don't go and take a debt which is 2 million a month. You will create problem because your wisdom may not be able to handle that. And most businesses break or win because of their financial knowledge. And that financial knowledge of the business is the one who started it. The promoter of the business, his financial knowledge. And it is better to run a business with 1,000 cedis that you're comfortable controlling, that you know how to make that 1,000, that you know that you are not lying to get that 1,000. 1,000 cedis that you cleanly or you honestly had. You can do a lot with that 1,000 if you stay clean and you start to do whatever business you're doing, to build it bit by bit, than cheating your way to get 1 million Ghana cedis to build a business. Because the wisdom comes when you decide to be honest with the finances. The wisdom comes when you decide to get, because your skill, the finances are skill. The moment people start to, cut corners with the finances, they shortchange their financial intelligence. That's why you can see somebody who has done business for 5, 10, 20 years, still their financial knowledge is weak because the way the revenue comes in is not credible. And that's why people build businesses and maybe 20 years down the line, they see that there is trouble everywhere. Why? Because as you are growing your business, your financial knowledge should be growing. And when your business is making 10 million a year, that financial knowledge will not be the same as when your business was making 2 million a year. If your business is making 100,000 a year, Ghana City, you cannot take that financial knowledge, which handles 100,000, to go to handle 100 million Ghana Cities a year. It doesn't work like that. So if you see somebody whose business is making rare revenue, not the ones that they are looking up, the rare revenue, if that person is making 100 million a year, there is some kind of financial knowledge that they have that those who are making way less don't have. And so the difference between us and those handling big business, so to say, is the knowledge, the ability to have proper, workable, predictable financial knowledge, financial skill. They are able to handle the debt, they are able to handle the finances well. If you don't build that, you will not be able to build a good business. So before you start, look at the finances well, because it's the blood of the business. You can lose everything in a minute if your financial knowledge is very weak. If your financial knowledge is very weak, you can lose everything. All right. So yes, Augustine, the wisdom comes when you decide to be honest with your finances. So true. If you are doing business, our generation, if we can build a continent with business, we just have to be honest, learn the processes. Don't be in haste trying to cut corners and get everywhere. Don't try when you are with somebody. Just be as clean as you can be. When there is trouble, they can doubt you, but you don't have to doubt yourself. Because that's how people trust you. That's how people are going to say that this man is honest. So when trouble hits, they say that the man is trying to be honest. He just has genuine trouble that he can come through. But some people think that business is just about cutting through, cutting corners, slashing everybody. No. If you do that, you build the platform for failure. Because there is no foundation without integrity. There is no foundation. There's no business foundation without integrity. So don't look at what others are doing. It's not important. Your psyche, your plan, your objection is to build a business that will stand, that's sustainable, and that can be transferred to another group. That you can even get off the business and that business will run. And if a lot of things are not clear, who can copy? When you are not straight, who can copy? And so the credibility with the finances is very much important. If you spend 1 cedi right from the day you start the business, you may not need a bookkeeper, you may not need an accountant. You don't even have to. But you should get a book, maybe 2 cedi notebook that the girls use, and write every bit of it. If you spend 2 cedi to buy ice water, write it. If you spend 3 cedi to buy kelewele, write it. If you took the trotro, write it. Write every money that you spend, and write every purchases that are made on the business. So if people buy 3 of your product, write the date. At the end of the month, put everything together. To put all the revenue, the income together, and put all the finances together, and see where your business is standing. You don't have to be a very good accountant. You just have to be a very good bookkeeper at the initial stage of your business. Just write everything, no matter what the business is. Even if you are making 50 cedis, write. If you take trotro, write. Because sometimes the thing about it is that the money is coming in little by little, but it's still big money. The money is going out of the business little by little, but it's still very big money. If you don't write and you put somebody in charge, you will fight with that person. You will never believe that person, because you will think that that person is stealing. Because people always underestimate the expenses of the business. They overestimate the income, they underestimate the expenses. So write every bit of it. Learn it. It's a culture. You just have to be accountable. You just have to be accountable. And if you're going to take loan, look at the interest. Look at the interest. Make sure that your business can sustain it. Make sure. And if you have trouble with the debt, don't run away. Stay with the process. Okay, so I'm talking about before you start your business. Before you start your business, what are some of the things that you would have to condition yourself? They say that business is like going to war, or it's like going to marry. You know, the woman you marry and the woman you marry, they are different. And so your business success and my business success would not have to be the same. We may start the business in a different area, different time, different conditions, but there are very few things that can guide every one of us. And maybe if you try them, they will be the basis for us to get some kind of success and not give up. Where if you didn't have that, if you had that information, you probably could have stayed with the process and you probably could have built a good business. And so I have talked first about your resolve to have the mindset to succeed. Develop that thinking to succeed. There is a mindset of people who succeed, and there is a mindset of people who don't succeed. If you go to the sports, the very good sportsmen, whether they are boxers or whether they are the people who run or the footballers, they have a way of looking at themselves, and they have a way of looking at their profession, their craft. They don't see themselves as the people who don't have the skills to succeed. So if you start a business, you just have to see yourself that way, that I have what it takes to succeed. I have what it takes to succeed, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to succeed. And if you look at the best in business, they are people who are always conditioning themselves. They are coming up with better ideas, better systems, better structures, because they know that for you to succeed, you just have to keep developing yourself. You know, so there's a particular mindset that they have, that they know that if they are in it, they have to win. So you just have to look at the same kind of mindset. The other thing is that you have to look at your personality, the type of personality that you have, and the kind of business that you can start. You know, maybe your personality will be more successful in a construction company. Another person's personality may be more successful maybe in a retail company. Another person's personality may be more successful in maybe an education kind of business. So what kind of person are you? What kind of passion do you have? What kind of interest do you have? What kind of things that you can see and innovate easily? Those areas, you link them to the business that you want to start. And the kind of partners that you want to start the business with, those can break you from the beginning. You just have to know the kind of people you are teaming up with. If you want a partner to be part of your business, you just have to know his psyche. Where does he want to go? Does he only want to be part of this business because he wants some extra revenue, or he wants to build a company? And if he wants to build a company, to what kind of company that does he want to contribute? Is he want to be part fully, or you want somebody who will just be working somewhere and you take their money? No. If you want to go for a partner, go for somebody who is 100% in the business, and you build the business gradually together. You know, if you only bring money, I would say that just take the money and just take it as debt than just as partner. You know, unless they are doing some other business, they don't have time, then you can take that and once in a while you do some briefing. But if they are just somebody who is just taking some revenue, some salary somewhere, don't partner with a lot of people like that, because they will not understand the difficulties that the business would have to go through initially for the first 2, 3, 4 years before the business starts to make sense to you and to whoever you want to partner with. And so if they are not involved, you will dissipate a lot of energy, because there will be a lot of disagreement, and they will think that you're stealing. So the next one is your financial knowledge and how you handle debt and loans. They are very much important. Your financial knowledge is everything that you're going to do with the business. If you're not good, if you're the kind of person, you see 2 CD today, you want to buy Mercedes Benz. If you see 100,000 tomorrow, you want to buy house. You want to impress people. You are changing your shoe, you are changing your clothes, you're changing your watch, your telephone. Even if the business is suffering, you are the one changing everything. No, it cannot work. So you have to just look at how you understand finances if you want to build a very good business, a very proper business. And the other thing is that you also have to look at how you register the business. Is it going to be an enterprise, or is it going to be a limited liability company? Most people will recommend that you start as an enterprise, and as you are becoming better, you transfer that into a limited liability company. Depends on what you have to do, but most people who build big businesses happen to build limited liability, and they start to understand the advantages in having a limited liability company, or the advantages in having an enterprise, or disadvantages in having an enterprise, or disadvantages in having a limited liability company. So you just have to learn them, and you may have to go to the registrar general, or maybe talk to a business consultant, somebody to explain those things to you, and so that you make a good decision on that. The moment you register the business, Ghana laws require that you start to pay taxes. So go and learn them and stay clean. Take decisions to stay out of a lot of deals that will not help you. We go into detour out of our naivety, out of our ignorance. Most people think that when you want to do business, just cut corners and do all that. My experience is that you don't need them. As much as you can, stay clean, stay with the process. You become better when you're honest. Stay clean. If somebody gives you an introduction, be a good person. Be somebody that people can depend on. Build that credibility. Be somebody that somebody helps you. You don't go back to destroy them. If somebody gives you money, make sure that you're honest with the money. If somebody gives you help, don't destroy people. Be a person who is of value. After all, the people who have built big businesses, at a point they start to give that kind of money, all the money that they make, to charity. Now, if you are going to build business to make a lot of money and give it back to charity, why do you want to destroy people to get the same kind of money to give it to charity anyway? So it doesn't worth it for you to screw people, lie to people, cheat people just to build a business. No, don't cheat the country. Put the priority of the country forward. Don't lie, don't go and just do all kind of there is a lot of opportunities if you are dishonest. In quote, a lot of people can give you offer, but all those, they will destroy you eventually. The best businesses that you build that can give you some bit of peace and leverage and some bit of sustainability are the ones that you build out of your character, out of your gift, out of your credibility. Those are I think that businesses that are built well are built out of innovation, out of creation, out of system structures. You're thinking all the time, you're planning. They are not businesses that people are trying to connect you somewhere and lie to you. Most of the people that we call in Ghana, who we call businessmen, are people who are just connecting somewhere, somehow, from somewhere. Those are waste of time. If you have to sell cement to succeed, you can sell cement. A lot of people have sold cement and they are successful. Why? Because they built those businesses out of their energy, out of their sweat, out of their creativity. Those are better businesses. The businesses that are giving you problems are the businesses that people are trying to connect you all the time. They are useless. If you are going to waste your energy or spend your time to build a business, you might as well look at building a business that is credible, that is predictable, business that you have control, business that you can decide, I'm doing this and I'm not doing that. If you have a lot of entanglements with connections with people, you have no leverage, you have no say. And one of the things that entrepreneurs have is because they want to create their lives, because they want to be responsible for their lives, they want to have control. You don't want to entangle yourself with a lot of deals that people can easily call you and say anything to you. You want to build a business out of your creativity, out of your thinking, out of your innovation. So anything that you have to build, stay out of a lot of dubious deals. It's not important. That is my assertion. It's not important. You would only start, no matter how many years you've been in business, business will start to make sense to you when you discipline yourself to go through the process. Because the business is not just about money. No, you're also solving problems for society. It's not just about money. You're solving problems. You're creating jobs. You're coming up with better product, better services. You're paying taxes. You're contributing to society. So you might as well do it well, because if there is anything that Africa needs, there are people we need people who can think to create businesses more than any other thing. Africa does not need a lot of a lot of politicians and all these people making noise. What Africa needs, because they all confess that the most dangerous thing that we are sitting on now is unemployment. They all say it. We are producing a lot of people from the universities who have no jobs, which means the most important gift in Africa now is the people who can think to create businesses. And so if you have that kind of tendency, then you might as well go in and build it well. building, and you can turn anything into business. Anything, so far as it's not against the society, so far as they don't destroy people and God is not against it, anything can be in business. Anything. People are doing business card for people is a business. They have printing shop is a business. They have trucks that are sending sand to people on their side is a business. Anything at all can be built into a proper business. That is what the Africans should know. That any business that you see, if you go through town, any business that you see can be turned into a good business. But if you want to do it, then you might as well do it with honesty, with respect, with kindness, with knowing that the society is going to suffer if you are cutting a lot of wrong deeds. So build your philosophy to work hard and to be a person who people can depend on. You are going to put in a lot of hours if you are going to build a business. It's no joke. So if you don't like working, if you like complaining, if you're lazy, then don't worry about going to start a business. Don't, because it takes a lot of energy, it takes a lot of strength, it takes a lot of creativity. If people are working for 8 hours and they are complaining, you would have to work for 12 hours, 20 hours and still be working. So if you're lazy, don't worry about it. Don't just go and find somewhere, because you cannot succeed in anything in this life if you're lazy. Success is a product of hard work. You would have to put in the hours, you would have to put in the energy, you would have to put in the thinking, you would have to sacrifice if you want to succeed. It's a product of that. Forget about what people are telling you about and God will help you and God and all those. You would have to work. You can't succeed at anything. There's a certain amount of hours that humans would have to put in anything for them to see significant success. There's a certain amount of hours, and they will not be less than 10 years. If you look at any expert in anything, whether they are surgeons, whether they are politicians, whether they are engineers, anybody who is at the top of their game, they have not put in less than 8,000, 10,000, 12,000 kind of hours in that which they do. So if you have a business, you're not going to put in just 2 years and see success in the business. No. You're going to put in a lot of hours, 5 years, 10 years, 12 years, 20 years. Dangote has done business for how long? Dangote is probably over 40 years in business. And when you hear that he's a billionaire, you think that somebody will just pray for you to become one. No. Have you ever heard in any church that they pray for somebody to become a billionaire and he became? Because there is an exchange for that. And that exchange is the input of hard work, of creativity, of honesty, of personal development, financial knowledge, creativity, how to handle people well, how to live in an economy, become responsible. There's a lot that they put in those hours before they start to see the fruit. And the last one I would want to talk about is your growth. Your personal development is responsible for the growth of a business. So before you even think of that, have a structure to develop yourself. Have a structure to become better. Increase the knowledge that you have. Become better at any skill that you will need. Become better in how to handle people. Become better in your character. Become better in the basic technical skills that your business will need. If you're going to produce if you're going to build houses, there will be some technical knowledge that you will need in that. Develop yourself there. If you are going to, there will be constant self-development. You will not be the one joking and laughing and dancing every time somewhere. No, your time becomes now for personal development, because the business is only going to grow according to the growth that you as a business owner you have. Because you would have to provide the leadership. And so when there is no leadership, there is no growth. When there is no leadership, there is no growth. And leadership is a resource. Is as a result of the investment that you have put in yourself, personal investment. Nobody is born a leader. Don't believe all those. Somebody can be born a king, but not a leader. Leaders get results, and leadership, productive leadership, only comes by people who have developed themselves. They only come from people who have developed themselves. And so when everybody is dancing and jumping and sleeping, you are reading a book. If everybody is doing something, you are taking another course. You're becoming better at your craft. You're constantly learning. You're going to study somewhere, because that is it. The future of whatever you're doing is going to reflect the quality of knowledge, the quality of wisdom, the quality of understanding that you have. It's a trade-off of the investment that you have put in yourself. So success is not just something that just happens. Success is only a fruit of labor, which is of hard work, actually. So my name is Kwabena. Thank you for watching. I have talked about, before you start your business, some of the things that you would have to look at, and my points are business. They compare them to preparing to do anything, preparing to go to war. You cannot go to war without preparation. But even no matter how much you are prepared, you still don't know the tactics of the enemy. And so your fight will be as unique to you as your enemy is unique to you. The time that you're going to fight, the tools that you're going to use, the weapons. And so the preparations are good. They just, give you some kind of precautions to get by. It's better than not having any information at all. But there are no guarantee that you are not going to go through a lot of things. You go through them. That's business. So you just have to have that mind resolve that you are going to stay with it. You're going to stay with the process. You have to have the people who succeed in this life, there's a way they think. And the people who just get by in this life, there's a way they think. Those who succeed believe that they must succeed. And they know that the success is within their reach. That's why they train hard. That's why they demand a lot from themselves. That's why they fight more. That's why they put in more hours. That's why they don't blame another person. That's why they are not waiting for magic to happen. That's why they are planning, they are thinking, they are studying, they are fighting, they are negotiating, because it's a psyche. The other ones are waiting for magic, they are going for miracle, they are waiting for God. That's why they don't get success. Success is intentional. Success is deliberate. Success is predictable. It's creative. Success is created. It's not. Don't believe all those things that they tell you, because if you're 20 years or 30 years, you know that a lot of the things that are happening in your life, you fought for them. You work for them. You build yourself for them. That's what they happen. And so you create that. You create that, and that's what that's one of the damages that religion has done to Africans, is that instead of them getting quality information on how to create success, they are waiting for somebody else to pray for them to become successful. And when people say that, listen, you are responsible for your life, you are responsible to create a life that you want, they think that those people are against God. No. Diligence. The diligent hand will prosper. It's in the Bible. Success in this life is a reflection of your wisdom, of your knowledge, of your understanding. You will not get more successful than your wisdom or your knowledge or your understanding in this life. And so the mindset, the mind that you carry, is responsible for the success that you enjoy in this life. Everything that happens in your life is on this earth is going to be according to the quality of your thinking. So you better settle that, so that you know the level of the quality of your thinking, and then you can update it. You can go to the next stage, you can go to the next stage, you can go to the next stage. Don't believe that if you have weak thinking, you're going to succeed. That's what they're telling us all over Africa. That's why Africa is still poor, because Africans are not thinking. Africans don't believe that the results that we see around us is a reflection of our thinking. But I can bet you, every result that we see, whether we like it or not, they are a reflection of the quality of thinking that we have as a people, as a country, as a continent. So personal life is the same. The quality of things that you can build as a business person, they are going to be the quality of thinking that you have, the quality of the mindset that you have, the skill that you have developed. They are direct reflection of the level of successes that we are going to develop. And so people who succeed in business, this is how they think. This is how they think. They know that the success is their own responsibility. They don't joke with it. They are not waiting for you to help them to succeed. They are building it. If anything happens in between, no problem. But they are not begging for success. They are not waiting for it. They are going at it. And that is a thinking that you would have to have if you want to start a business. That whatever business that you start, you are going to go at it to succeed. And you're not going to give up. You're going to put on the energy. You're going to put the sacrifices that are required. You're going to fight to succeed. That is a mindset. You're going to have the tough mindset. When you meet troubles, you don't cry. When you make mistakes, you don't cry. When you meet failure, you don't cry. You go back and you fight. That's the mindset that people who build business have. Okay, those who succeed. And even not just only in business, in life, if you're going to succeed at anything at all, you just have to have that meta mind, so to say. You know, it's made of steel, that you are going to go at it even when you're tired, you're going. Because that's the only thing that is going to guarantee your success. Any other thing, forget it. Success, if you set anything that you want to do, just be that kind of person who will be consistent, who will be constant, who can be dependent upon, who is going to stay at it, put in the energy, put in the fight. You don't want to have a breaking mind. Today you are dependable, tomorrow we cannot trust you. You are not going to succeed. No. So that is the mindset that you need. Strength. You virtually have to be mad to succeed in business. Especially if you're going to go with honesty, if you're going to go with credibility. You know, there's a lot that you have to put in your mind for you to succeed. The other thing is the kind of personality. I'm just wrapping up. The kind of personality that you have to become. Look at your gift, look at the things that you think God has gifted you with, look at your aspirations for life. What is it? Which are the areas that interest you? Those are the areas that I think you can build good business around. You don't just have to look at somebody succeeding to say that, oh, I want to do the same thing. No, stay with your lane. Stay with that which you're passionate about, that which you have gift for, that which you're creative, that which gets your attention, get your energy. Stay with that and continue to build that. Every business can succeed if you have the passion and the energy and the creativity and the flexibility. If you can go for a lot of knowledge and keep going, you will succeed. So it doesn't matter which other area somebody is succeeding. Is it linked to your passion, your vision, the problems that you can solve for society? If you have identified that area, just be patient and keep going. You will succeed. And so the other thing is the kind of people you bring on board to help you. Make sure that they have the same kind of resilience, the kind of strength, they have the same kind of character that you're looking for. Can you depend on them? Can you trust them with money? Can you look at the things that are required for success? It doesn't just happen. Success happens because it's orchestrated. So if you have a team, if you have a partner who is stealing, who is lousy, you're going to struggle if you have that. So you want to look for quality, somebody who has prepared themselves for success. The other thing is, we talked about financial knowledge. You have to work it. You are not born with proper financial knowledge. And if your financial knowledge is to save money to buy a car, to save money to buy a house, to save money to go to school, to save money for party, that is not the financial knowledge that you can use to build a business. Proper financial knowledge is the one that is creating a lot of avenues so that you can get more resources to grow the business. That is it. And you get the discipline to be honest, the discipline to be credible, the discipline to stay with the stages until the business becomes successful. So there are a lot. So if you have financial problems, don't run away. Stay with it until you go through that stage. If you buckle, if you give up, you would have to come again and go through the same stage again. So don't ever give up. Don't give up on yourself, no matter the troubles. Stay with the process, continue to grow. It can be broken if you don't give up. Any challenge that you meet in business can be broken, can be overcome if you don't give up. And there's no business challenge that is demonic. They are just reflection of the problems that you should have solved. So the problems came because you didn't have the skill. You didn't see it. Never blame anything on a demon or anything like that. So register the business and open an account for it, and make sure that you stay clean. Stay clean. If anybody gives you a chance, don't go and destroy them. Stay clean. Be honest with people. You don't need to start business by stealing from people. It will not help you. Just stay clean. Just be clean. And whenever you meet good people, as much as you can, keep them. Because there are not many. So when you meet people with good heart, with good mind, with good strength, stay. with them. Stay with them. And the other thing is that decide to work hard. Decide to work hard. Decide to work hard, because no success will come from laziness. People believe that if they can become successful without working hard. It's never true, especially not in this economy. You would have to put in the hours. You would have to work extra, and the more you work in, the more it becomes easier. And so if the model is not working, it doesn't mean give up. It only means that re-engineer it well, correct it, and stay with it. At a point, it will start to make sense. There is nobody who ever wanted to do something with their lives, build a business, and who stayed with the process, who was honest, who was credible, who was ambitious, who was constantly learning, who will not succeed. At least they will succeed. They will succeed beyond the level that they started the business. And so don't have that thinking that you start a business and you are looking for a pastor to pray for you so that you become successful. No, there are just basic principles of life that if you follow, you'll be successful. I think that a lot of people are wasting a lot of time trying to look for magic, trying to look for miracles. Yet they have not even set the right foundations for that. What is the kind of business that you're starting? What is your understanding of how to manage people, how to manage a lot of things that businesses are managed? You don't even look at those, but you're looking for a prayer. I've never seen any of these billionaires around the world who was prayed for before they became billionaire. Because life is just, if you want to succeed, it's just solving problems, So business is really about solving problems. So if you go to them and they are telling you that why you are meeting a lot of challenges, you have to pray for you so that business itself is about solving problems. So if you're afraid of problems, then why are you getting into business in the first place? So the mind of our people would have to change and would have to improve. That is, the problem is not the problems that you're meeting, but the problem is that your strength is weak. Your skill is weak. So if you up the skill, at a point, the problem will become small. And you see that you are at a level that you can see better than the other time. And so the next point is growth is a reflection of your personal development. The growth will not come until we are organized. The growth will not come until we are able to do some basic things right, until we are able to set our thinking, our philosophies right on a lot of things. So if a lot of things are scattered in our mind, growth will not come. If you think that the last dream you had is responsible for the failures that you are meeting, you're not ready. So personal development, the particular business that you are in, study the business. The finances, study them. Are you able to manage the people well? Study that. It's a skill. Study that. At least at a point you will know that this one is working and this one is not working. So my name is Kwabena. I try to talk to you about, before you start your business, some of the things that you can look at. And majority of our people would have to look at this anyway. The reality hits us that most people would have to do something for themselves. And so it's a good information for a lot of people. When we started something, there was not much that we could look at. There was not much that we understood when we started. So you just start and keep moving. But I think it's better when you have some level of clarity at the point of starting. And never give up. Never give up, because people have done it. And if you give up, where are you going? Until you have succeeded, where are you going? And the only option for us is to win. No matter how many times you fail, that's not an option. The option is for you to win. And sometimes you don't just have to win. Sometimes some people can fail about 1,000 times, and just one win will clear all the 1,000 failures. So keep going and keep fighting forward. And know that this business that you are thinking to start will change everything about your life. The way you look at finances will change. If you're just receiving salary, you don't understand finances. Those are facts. And so you think differently. When you start a business and you are responsible for all the things, finances are a bit different from when you're just receiving salary. The psyche, I talked about it, the mindset. You just have to be strong-minded and keep pushing. Don't let anybody talk weakness into you. That will kill you. Those who win don't embrace weakness. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you. Hi Jima, thank you very much for watching. Tina, thank you. Nana said thank you very much. Thank you everybody.